So we are back with another video today. Remember I told y'all I wanted to do more lives versus me just recording the videos. So we are back with today's video. And today's video, y'all, so I wanted to have a conversation on something that I saw on Threads, and I wanted to get y'all feedback on it too. And so that's why I titled it Who's the a-hole in this situation, because it received a lot of different feedback. Basically, I'm about to get ready to make me a quick dinner. I'm just making like a little burger because I have to teach a class in 2 hours, so I was just gonna make something real quick. But when y'all come in, make sure if you're here on the live, just double tap it so that it can register it as a like. If you're watching on the replay, make sure you like the video, love. I'm just getting everything disinfected down before I start cooking. Because the thing with here, one thing I've noticed, like all the apartments that's like by the beach, there's like, all the apartments have had it. It's like little ants or something or whatever the case is. So I find myself always having to like disinfect down things or whatever in the space. But I'm going to give y'all a chance to get in, say hi, all that jazz before I start the conversation. No, we ain't doing no crab boiling. So I did end up cooking some more other crab after that day. But I still got like 4 of them up there. I realized it's too much work to cook them crabs for it to be that little bit of meat. It's not enough meat inside them crabs for me to be going through all of that. That's one thing that I can definitely say is that I miss about the United States. I miss seafood boils. Because although there's like seafood here and all that, with me being in a beachfront town, like it's not the same. Like you can't just find seafood boils. You get what I'm saying? Like you can't find the seafood boils, and I miss it. I miss it so much. I was thinking about that, like the type of crab legs that we had back in the U.S. or whatever, like with the snow crabs. They ain't got that here, and I'm mad. Look, so that's why I said I was gonna be on here talking to y'all while I'm cooking. Hey Notori, hey Kay, how y'all doing on this Thursday, on this Jupiter day? I'm making me some coffee because I gotta be up a little bit later today. I have to teach a class at 8 o'clock in the butterfly school. But I'm making me like a quick burger today. I just got done grocery shopping. And I wanted to talk about this post that I saw on Threads, y'all, because some people was in a tizzy about it. I guess I can put this up because I'm not using it anymore. Some people was in a tizzy about it, and it was like a lot of mixed feelings or whatever on the conversation. I'm gonna keep some of it out though because I'm gonna wash these tissues. But so okay, the post on Threads. I want to give everybody a chance to get in here. Hey, Shantae. Hey, Fire Fairy. Okay, how much time has passed? I'm going to give it at 5 minutes. I'm going to talk about the post that I saw, and we're going to get into the discussion. I want to give people a chance to get in here, because I know YouTube don't be giving notifications immediately when you go live. So I'm going to give people a chance to get in, say hi to each other, thumbs up the video, all that jazz. Hey, everyone. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I'm just making me a couple cups of coffee. So, how was y'all day today? What y'all do? What y'all get into? So, yeah, I'm making, this is right here, I'm just making some coffee, and then I'm about to make me like a little quick burger or whatever. And so don't laugh at me, y'all, because it's definitely a frozen burger, but hey, it still tastes the same. Okay? One thing I will definitely say is that food here, because I've been eating beef, and beef hasn't been having a bad effect on my body like it did in the US. And I think it's just because of like the hormones and stuff that be in stuff. but I haven't had the same effect that I had back in the US. So I haven't eaten beef again. And then I got this thing for salami that I've been eating some salami, so that's the only pork that I've been eating. Let me turn this air up, child. So I feel like it's about to get hotter in here. That's probably why my throat was hurting this morning. Okay, so the post. Y'all ready to get into this? So the post that I saw on Threads, right? It was this guy. He was talking about that his sister is pregnant and she's close to going into labor, right? And so she contacted him and asked him if he would be willing to take her 4 children. Okay? So the thing is, well, if he will be willing to take her 4 children for 2 days. Okay? And so the thing is this good? No, that's not good. So the thing is that he already has 2 children and he has a wife. Okay? And so he has 2 children and he has a wife. Listen, it's definitely better than, like, it's just something about the hormones and stuff that they put within their food. It's totally different. It hits my body differently. So he has 2 children already, and they stay in a 2-bedroom apartment, and he has a wife. Okay? So the days that he asked her to watch the children, he has to work. Okay? Now, in him having to work, he would have to call off of work, okay? And he said that, like, it'll be hard for him to call off of work, which means that his wife would be responsible for primarily watching all 6 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment, okay? So, to find a middle ground, he asked his sister if she would be willing to, which oil do I use? If she would be willing to let him watch them in her home where she has more space, okay? Or if she could split up some of the care to where she has like a night nurse come to help basically while she's in the hospital, because she's only gonna be in the hospital for 1 day, and then she wanted to spend the second day at home with just her husband and the baby. So she told him no, that they couldn't stay at her house because she wanted to be in her house the second day with just her husband. Okay? I don't know why I didn't buy some more. I went grocery shopping before this live. I don't know why I didn't buy some more burgers. I thought I had more than 2 in here, but oh well. And so she said no. Okay? And so he said he didn't think that it would be fair because he would be agreeing to that, but his wife will be having to take on the majority of the care with the kids. 6 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment, and the sister won't let him stay at her house to watch the kids while she's in labor. And she didn't want to get the night nurse because she didn't want to pay for care to help, right? And so he basically told her no. And so they normally talk every day. And so since he told her no with that situation, she's gone ghost. She isn't talking to him, nothing. And so he was wondering, like, am I the asshole for this? And so there was a lot of mixed reviews and feelings about this on Threads. And I wanted to bring that here as a conversation to hear you all's thoughts on the topic before I give my feelings on the topic of, you know, the whole situation and how it was playing out with the sister or whatever. So, did any of you all see that already on Threads? Like, are y'all familiar with the story or whatever the case is? So, this is like a mixture, like seasoning for meats. I think churrasco means like grilled or something like that. Child, but it's salt and some other like flavors and stuff inside of it. It's really, really good. I like it. So, are y'all familiar with the story before I go deeper into just like the commentary and what I have to say about it? Because y'all know I got some stuff to say. Y'all know I got some stuff to say. Okay, I personally don't think he's the a-hole because he doesn't want to do all that work on his, put all that work on his wife. That's not fair to her. So he tried to find a middle ground, and when she said no, he gets ghosted. Yes. Now, so let me tell y'all the different opinions and feelings that people have been saying. So, a lot of people who are from like collectivist societies, primarily, so you have a lot of people from the Caribbean. A lot of Hispanic people were weighing in on it, and they were just like, "That's selfish of him." Grandma was able to fit 10 kids in a 2-bedroom house with no problem. Um, Americans are, or the Western world is so westernized and individualistic to where what happened to the mindset of family and being there for family when family needs you. And people were saying like my sister wouldn't even have to ask me, like I would have automatically taken the children and I probably would have took them for longer than 2 days, so on and so forth, right? And then you had some people who were chiming in who mentioned the same thing that Fire Fury had mentioned, that it's not fair with him, like knowing that he can't take off work and majority of work will be on his wife, who is the sister-in-law primarily, and she didn't want him to be in, da 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 da, right? And so when I was looking at this situation, I want more of y'all to chime in on y'all thoughts and feelings before I give my talk on it. Y'all thinking, y'all typing, what y'all doing? Because we gonna get into this conversation. I want to know y'all feelings on it. What's y'all thoughts? Have you ever been in a situation like that? Like, how do you feel about the fact of the sister saying like, no, you can't stay at my house because I want to stay there with my husband and our newborn child for the first day by ourselves? How do you feel about the fact of her saying that she didn't want to pay for childcare for her child? The fact of her having 4 children already and having another child and not wanting to pay for care, but wanting her family to take on the burden of that. Um, what's your thoughts on it? Oh, I hope my tomatoes still good. Because I did not buy another one, child. Okay, it is. Official! Let me make my coffee. Wait, why was that wasting out like that? Not y'all don't want to get your responses. Y'all scared? Don't be scared. Don't be scared to give your feelings on the conversation. Was he an asshole for saying no? Is she an asshole for ignoring him since he said no? Because why y'all ain't giving y'all answers? Why y'all ain't responding? Okay, you said top of that, he's not gonna be there for those days. Now, if he could probably be, that would have been, then it's 2 people working together. That makes things better. Um, that makes me wonder also, like, why didn't, like, if you knew this was going to come up, make the arrangements beforehand so that nobody is really blindsided and people know how to move around and make things work. Okay, and no, you don't think he is the asshole. So So there was a comment that stood out to me that said that the sister was very selfish and entitled on how she expected, because her brother is the only family that's near her. The rest of their family is nowhere near. And they said that he is that she was entitled because how dare you expect, brother or not, to step in to, add in this extra burden. And then also adding in the piece of what Nitro just said of, preparing differently. Like, if you can't afford to have childcare for the 4 children already and you're leaning on your brother and you're bringing another child into this world, but then people are just like, that's what family are for. Many people want to have a village, but they don't want to be a villager. But the thing is that I feel like a lot of people, they don't think about their village when they make decisions. A lot of people don't think about their village when they make decisions. Um, what about your husband's side of the family? There's no one there who can help in that instance. You know what I'm saying? But then the also of not being willing to have the middle ground there, that's not fair. You already have 4 children and you're bringing another child in the world and you're saying you don't want to pay for childcare or overnight nurse. That's not fair to put it on the family or someone else to take over for you in that instance. And the thing is, people can say, well, in the past, that would have been nothing for family, things of that nature. But you got to look and see how toxic a lot of these families are also. How unhealthy the relationships are, the unhealthy sense of codependency, the high rates of depression, the anger, the bickering, the fighting, all of that. So yes, you may do it, but a lot of those family relationships don't be healthy either. You know what I'm saying? Because people feel like they're not allowed to say no, because if they say no, then they're going to be negatively affected or they're going to be viewed a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's not fair for us to expect our family or other people around us to be there for us in those situations, and we keep making decisions and adding more responsibility there. You know what I'm saying? So yes, grandma may have used to have 10 grandbabies in one house, you know what I'm saying, for X amount of time. Those times are very different. Okay? The way the stress of the world is now, the way the stress of the economy is, the way the stress of the workloads of things are, um, we can't say, oh, that person doesn't really love you because they're not willing to sacrifice certain aspects to be there or to show up for decisions that you made. You get what I'm saying? Like, let them, it's okay to have a choice. But then as soon as someone tells you no, now you're mad at them. Now you don't want to talk to them anymore because they told you no. That's unhealthy. Because why can't we have a healthy space or a relationship where we're allowed to have boundaries, where we're allowed to have autonomy over our body and our energy and our time, to where if someone tells us no, that doesn't change the relationship. And it shows how many families literally, physical abuse is not the only type of abuse. And this is something that we as a people need to fully understand. Physical abuse is not the only type of abuse. There's mental abuse, there's emotional abuse, there's financial abuse, okay? Where you have a lot of manipulation and things. And the sense of that case, his sister is being very emotionally manipulative and abusive because she didn't get her way in a situation where she was expecting him to show up and be there and to step in and do something for her from a decision that she made. So we can say, oh, what happened to the village and, us being villagers, things of that nature, but too many people don't think about how their actions affect their village. You're the one who's continuously having children. You're the one continuously making decisions, and then you want to be upset when someone else is not able to step in and to help you with the consequence of that decision that you made. Hey, Divine Flow Pool. And that's one thing that I've noticed within a lot of different family structures and communities. They have a lot of unhealthy relationships within those communities. You know what I'm saying? Night Pool. They have a lot of unhealthy relationships where it's a lot of emotional abuse that be going on, whether people know that it's emotional abuse or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to really look at how our decisions and our actions affect others around us and not just get upset when someone, says that they can't do something. Like, that's not fair to them. We should be able to say no and not be afraid of the fact of, oh, this person may not like me anymore, or this person may not talk to me anymore, because if I tell them no, that's abuse. That is a literal response. That is an abuse response. You're only doing something because you're afraid of something. Okay? Because you are afraid of something. That's the only reason why. That's the only reason why you'll be doing something. And that's not healthy. I don't want someone doing something for me or stepping in for me in certain aspects because they're only doing it out of fear. Because they're afraid of how I'm going to respond or what I'm going to say. No, we need to be able to have safe spaces where we're allowed to be ourselves. Those are the type of families and homes where abuse be running rampant. So that's why we have the situations where the uncle been abusing people from multiple generations and no one is talking because everybody, they're afraid to talk. They're afraid to stand up in certain aspects. You get what I'm saying? Like, there has to be a middle ground there. And I personally don't feel like he was wrong for feeling that way. Okay? We have the right to say no to something if it doesn't feel right. Yes, you're in a life-changing situation. Yes, you're giving birth. That's very beautiful. But you also should have been thinking about how your actions affect other people when you decided to have your fifth child. If you can't afford to have a night nurse or to show up, like, we can't be making decisions with the mindset of, oh, this person will always be there to help me. What if he passed away and you didn't have him? What would you be doing if you didn't have that person? That was the reason of my divorce, was all the things except you mentioned, except for physical abuse. I had to also set a boundary with my nieces and nephews who asked me for money from never check. That part, that part. And it's like, we should be able to have connections where we're allowed to say no. We're allowed to have autonomy over ourselves, over our body, over our decisions, and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? That is healthy. And if someone's going to show up in a certain type of way, let them do it because they want to do it and not because they feel like they are required to do it. Okay? I don't want nobody around me feeling like they're required to do something. Because when somebody starts feeling like they're required to do something, that's when they're more prone to doing some shit that ain't always becoming. You get what I'm saying? I need to toast my bread now, y'all. I don't want all this oil. That's when you do things that is not very becoming. And that's not fair. Like, we get upset, oh, this person isn't there for me. This person isn't doing this person. Are you thinking about that person's life and what they got going on? We don't know if he is on a performance plan at his job and he can't take time off because he ain't got no hours. We don't know what he got going on in his job. And then to say, oh, well, I couldn't marry somebody who doesn't take family seriously to the point where they will step in. I'm sorry, y'all. 6 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment for 2 days, that's a no for me. I'm sorry. It's a no. I've already told, baby, I told my sibling, I said, 1 child is a max for me. When you start having more than 1 child, I can't be as active as I once was. That's not fair. That is not, I can't. I know my capacity. There's a reason why I don't have children. I know my capacity of what I can do, how much time I can give. I start forgetting birthdays and shit. You know I have a very neurodivergent brain. Very. And I know myself very well. And it's like, we can't get upset when the village can't show up the way that you want the village to show up. We have to think about the village and their personal issues and what they got going on too. Like, we have to think about that. So that's one thing I always said. Once you start having multiple kids and stuff, like, it's only so much I can do. I can't show up for every child the same way that I was. When you have 1 child, it's easy to spoil that one niece or nephew. But then you start having 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 M's in my bank account. I ain't got it. I ain't got it right now. So now I can't do all of that for the one that I used to do it for, because if I can't do it for all of them, it's gonna look different. I ain't got it. That's why I ain't got kids. I can't afford a damn child. If we want to be honest, not only can I not afford a child mentally and emotionally, financially, I can't afford a child. I'm just able to afford my damn self. I got student loan debt and stuff I gotta pay off. Business debt I gotta pay off. I can't do it. And we have to be understanding when we make those decisions and seeing how our decisions affect other people. Hell, my mama's watching my dog, but I send her money every month because I know it's an inconvenience. So I pay dog support. Like, I wish I could be the type of aunt that, I once was once upon a time, but I can't be that aunt anymore because I can't give as much as I could give when it was only 1 or 2. Now it's 10 of them. I can't, I don't have the capacity. I don't have the capacity. And I had to be honest with myself. Like, and it's not fair for us to get upset at other people for certain aspects because of that. You know what I'm saying? And I wish more people were understanding of that. When they make their decisions, and those decisions expect a certain thing their um from their community. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to think about how our actions will affect them too. You know, they get upset. Oh, my mama won't watch the kids, or she won't do X, Y, and Z. Like, you have to think about that type of stuff when you make decisions. If you know that you're going to be expecting other people to step in and to help you with things, you got to think about how those decisions can affect those relationships too. I'm sorry, I don't care what anyone says. Oh, well, family should be able to. You got to understand, a lot of things that we did back in those days, that was out of survival. That was out of survival. And if we're in a season where we're trying to learn how to not just survive, but we want to learn how to thrive in certain aspects, we have to make healthy decisions. We have to make decisions that are becoming for who we are and what it is that we're creating and what we're doing. We got to be a little bit more futuristic thinking. You know, I saw this little snippet video. Look at my little tomatoes. But I saw this snippet video, right? And in that video, it was of a player who was surrounded by all his family and stuff. And he got drafted to a team with like a big amount of money. And everybody was saying, please make sure that he has a good financial accountant behind him. Because you could just see it in the eyes of the family that they was ready to start asking that man for money. They was ready to start asking that man for something, okay? And it's one of those to where that's how a lot of players and people go broke. And musicians. I think that's how MC Hammer went broke, actually. Because he wanted to take care of everybody. He wanted to take care of the whole hood, put everybody on, everything. You get what I'm saying? And there is a fine line. You have to understand why some people never accumulated a certain level of wealth prior to you accumulating it. And it's because they didn't have the mindset or the discipline of certain things for that to come about. And so many people go broke and lose themselves because they overgive themselves to people. They overgive what they have. They overgive their valuables. They overgive because they want to be the family person. They want to be able to support. They want to be able to help. And now they can't even keep up on their own personal bills because the money was never going to keep coming that same way. But they didn't have good financial management. They didn't know how to invest money properly. They didn't know how to save their money. They didn't know how to do none of that. But everybody around them had their hands out and they got something in that moment and now it's all gone. Now it's all gone. But then you'll have some people talking about how he ain't right because he ain't giving this to this person, or how he ain't show up to help this person, or why he ain't do this, and that. You have so many people that will count your pockets and count your time and your energy before a time even comes. They expecting, oh yeah, this person will show up and do this. I can do this. This person will always have me. Oh, if I mess up or, I need something, my mom or my daddy will always be there and always give me something. Or, oh, my cousin will do it. You ain't even ask your cousin if they can. But you have this mindset or this expectation that they're going to come through for you and handle something or do something because you're counting on their time, their energy, their money before you even ask them. That's not fair. And it's not healthy. It's not fair and it's not healthy. But that's my feelings on it. I changed my life around to be there for my sister and my niece, and that was a personal choice. She didn't ask me to do any of that. I chose to do it, and I don't regret doing it. You know what I'm saying? I had a little bit of flexibility in there to allow me the opportunity to do it. So I will never regret showing up the way that I did. You know what I'm saying? And since I've left, now she's moving back home because she doesn't have the support of me there anymore, right? And so I'm happy that she still has support in another form. I understand the importance of family and support. And I'm happy that my family is a support for her, you know what I'm saying, back home. And it's one of those things where we need to allow people to give because they're giving from the kindness of their heart because they want to. We need to give people the choice and the autonomy to show up and do certain things because they want to and not because they feel pressured emotionally to do it. Not because they're mentally being manipulated to do it. You get what I'm saying? Because I don't want nobody showing up for me to do anything who it's like I had to manipulate you to do it because it's not real. It's not real. But I'm about to eat my burger, y'all. Thank y'all for being here with me in this conversation. Definitely leave your thoughts and your feelings inside of the comments. If you're watching a replay, just make sure, watch the replay chat. Like I said, my goal, I think I'm going to be doing more daily lives versus just uploading a video talking to y'all, and having more conversations live. And so we'll be talking about different topics that I see on the internet, different things that come to me, and just discuss it in like a real life, sense. And so I thank y'all for tuning into today's conversation. Said I love to give, and it's because I love to give and give presents and things like that, but that comes straight from love. Exactly. Because as soon as I feel like I'm being forced to do something, or I'm being expected to do something because you expect it of me, and if I say no, you're not going to like me anymore, or if I say no, you're going to disown me, or whatever the case is, I don't want it. I don't want no love like that. I don't want no love like that. Mm-mm. But y'all have a good one. Drink your water. Mind your business. And live a blessed life, honey. But I need y'all to always remember, sometimes it really is that deep. Don't let nobody manipulate you or gaslight you into feeling like it's not. Okay? I'll see y'all in the next conversation. Love y'all.